judges score the contest 48-46, 48-46, and 47-47 for the winner by majority decision,
and still the undisputed African Fighting Podcast champion of the world. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. Happy Monday, everybody. BG, what's going on, bro?
What's up? Nah, all good. Good fights this weekend. We're going to do a nice recap here. We've got obviously a nice special guest, so I think let's get straight into that, bro.
A nice special guest indeed. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is the gold standard for journalism in one championship. Bangkok Post reporter and a friend of the show now. It is, of course, the mighty Nick Atkin. What's going on, Nick?
Yeah, too kind. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm good. How you doing, guys?
Oh, fantastic.
All good, Nick. Thank you so much for taking the time again to be here with us. We know you've had a hectic last few days. I saw on your live you were talking about getting straight back in from Thailand and going straight back to work and, covering. So just again want to say we really do appreciate the time. But without any further ado, Nick, could you maybe just tell us a little bit about the weekend? Of course, we had two massive fight cards. We'll start with the one fight night 41. That was, of course, the big one. So maybe you could just give us a little bit of insight as to what it was like to be there, what the process was like, doing the media and things like that.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me again. And yeah, I came back home Saturday night, straight from the show, pretty much. Flew back with Dom Lau, the ring announcer from one. It was a hectic weekend. And no problem. I always love doing the show with you boys. The Story of the Fight podcast asked me as well, but they were doing it at midnight last night, which was too late for me. So this is okay. We're recording this 2:45, whatever, in the afternoon. It was a crazy weekend. It always is. I think Fight Night 41. Obviously, the main thing there is Supergirl retiring. I didn't see that coming. It added a real emotional element to the weekend. I wasn't expecting, and I wasn't ready for. The tears were shed by her, by me, by everyone, I think. Very sad, but also very uplifting moment, and I'm sure we'll get into it. But I also thought it was a great card overall, actually. On paper, I was a little worried because that Muay Thai title fight fell through between Alicia and Pejija, but Jarvis and Sinsamut made up for it, man. They delivered a banger. And I thought there was some great fights as well. The MMA opener was really good. Miado and Willie van Rooyen. You had the drama with your boy Willie. Hugh showed up and showed out as well. He was amazing. He looks like he's a real star in the making. And Tyra Tolo defending the belt as usual. Did some funky moves in that one. Overall just an enjoyable card. John Lineker, Ben Willis, surprise finish there for me. Some MMA. The MMA wasn't the best, but we'll get into it. And Friday Fights was also not the best card, but there was still some good moments, and I think the young Thai guys really showed out at the end. Dechao Walit and Kong Suk with knockouts and bonuses. Misaki got another win. She's a potential future star. Some drama with the Burmese boys, the eye pokes and this and that, and mixed night for them, but overall, fun weekend, and happy to get into it with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. What did you think?
Yeah, we definitely did enjoy it. We were, of course, live, but we do have a lot of talking points to get into. BG's got a comprehensive list of things he'd like to discuss with you, Nick. Without any further ado, bro, BG, I'm gonna let you get into it. I'll be back a little bit later.
Okay, no worries. Thank you so much. Yeah, look, I'm not going to take up too much of the time because there's a lot of fights to get through. So I'll just talk about some of the hot topics. I want to get your thoughts on it. So we'll start with that main event of the Fight Night 41, which was a very good replacement fight for the Pejija and Rodriguez fight. Honestly, I thought Coach Jarvis showed up, did the things. Gina looked very, very, very good. But also, Sinsamut Klinmee, I got to give him some respect because, he has sort of had a roller coaster of a career over the last, 3 years or so in one. So I wasn't sure what Klinmee we were going to get in this fight, but damn, the guy stood tough. I want to get your thoughts on that one, Nick. I know you had a nice interview with George afterwards.
Yeah.
About what could happen potentially. I thought that was a nice interview, so thank you for that. But give us your thoughts about what you really think about George's performance in particular, and what's next for both guys. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, great fight. I love both these guys. It's one of those tough fights where you don't want to see either of them lose, and sadly that's the game, isn't it? George really impressed me. There was a lingering question, I think, in my mind, in his mind, in everyone's mind. What was he going to be like after that knockout by Ursul? And obviously his dreams of being a world champion just comprehensively dashed in 2 minutes or whatever it was, less than that, after all that preparation he'd done. He answered every single doubt I had. I think, you mentioned my interview with him. He talked about how he had a lot of mental doubts as well himself, and he wondered whether he was good enough for this level, whether he deserved to be here. And he emphatically answered that. He put on a show. Sinsamut is funny because his record now reads he's 1-4 in his last 5, but it just doesn't tell the whole story. Seriously, he's so good, and he's right at the top level, and a win over him is a very credible win for George. Sinsamut's fought all the best fighters. One of those fights is Ursul as well. Also, Nikki Holskin, who is a legend and can do that to anyone, and he's retired now. Sinsamut's also beaten Holskin as well, knocked him out. Yusuf Assouk is a very tough customer, towering Moroccan, I think. So it's no shame to have his record like that, but yeah, just a huge win for George, and I think he really improved as well from what I've seen. I think that was his best performance I've ever seen, and that's what you want to see. Someone who's 24. You forget he's 25 years old, and he's leveling up. I think he told me in that interview I did with him how, he's started to feel really comfortable in that rule set, and a lot of the time it's just figuring out what shots to throw and when, because it's not traditional Muay Thai. It's almost like an entirely different sport, and one mistake like he did against Ursul, throwing as he said, a shit kick, cost him the whole. Yeah, he was right there for Ursul to drop with that, and Ursul's so long his reach. So yeah, I think he's really figuring out what to throw and when. And I got to be honest, I was surprised how good he was in that fight. I thought it could go either way. Yeah, I thought someone's going to get knocked out, and it could be George. Is his chin still going to be there?
Yeah.
But he was the one who was very close to the knockout. 10 more seconds in that second round, he probably would have at least got a knockdown against Sinsamut. So yeah, incredible performance.
No, a fantastic performance. I thought, part of me felt like I wish there was 5 rounds for main events like they do in UFC, regardless if it's a fight.
Yeah, I agree.
It'd be so cool, especially with fighters when it's high profile like this, considering the ranking system, even though it's not there. I'm sure we all can agree that these guys are in the top of the rankings, right? So a profile fight like that for me should be warranted a 5-round main event, no matter what the card is. So you mentioned, I like that you mentioned Yusuf Assouk, because I think he's a bit of a problem for the division as well. Like you mentioned, very, very tall. And George did say that he's looking potentially getting the title fight towards the end of this year. If not, he says next year. He's not really in a rush. And you mentioned 25 as well. I think that's very good timing for him. So that means he's probably going to have to do a fight before he gets Reagan Ursul again, right? So do you think that Yusuf Assouk would be the right opponent for George to get back into that number one undeniable title contention?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I hadn't actually thought of names, to be honest, but that's perfect. And I think Yusuf has had 2 fights in one. I think he's 1-1. Might be he's 1-1. He lost to Ring Rawi last fight, so I think that's a perfect fight. Absolutely spot on. Maybe you do that, in the summer.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens. And if Yusuf wins, that's a fresh challenger for Ursul.
Mm-hmm.
If George wins, he's probably in a position now where he can say, I've bounced back from that.
Yeah.
2 wins. Let's go Ursul again. That wasn't the real me. I'll show you. But then, you're in danger. If you lose to Ursul again, you're in danger of just being in purgatory for as long as Ursul holds the belt. But yeah, George is still young. Ursul's still young as well. I think he's like 32 or something. Frightening. Yeah.
Very young still. Absolutely. These guys are going to be going for a while. And I think a win over Asuik would definitely put him back in that contention for sure, considering the space of where Asuik is as well. George was talking about, maybe you asked him a question about kickboxing and Muay Thai. I want to get your personal opinion on what you think, because my personal opinion, I think George is intense when it comes to Muay Thai, and I think he should stick to that rather than going to kickboxing, unless it makes sense right for the move. But what's your thoughts?
100% he should stick with Muay Thai. I think it's quite, the trendy thing to do now in one is to do both. And for me, they're just completely different sports. They're completely different rule sets, but completely different sports. And I don't really enjoy watching kickboxing fights between Muay Thai guys. I want to see like actual dyed in the wool training everyday kickboxing fights. I think they're still entertaining, but one put on a lot of kind of kickboxing fights where one of the fighters is a Muay Thai fighter, sometimes both, and it's just not like top level kickboxing. And to his credit, I think Ursel is top in both, Muay Thai and kickboxing. Naturally, he's a kickboxer, but he grew up doing Muay Thai, I think. So I just don't think George has that same versatility on both sides. And he told me, he wants Muay Thai. He wants to correct that mistake, that loss anyway on his record, and then if he beats him, then they can do the kickboxing, he said. So
I remember that. Yes, I like that he should stick to Muay Thai, because you said something earlier about that the new style of Muay Thai looks a little bit different. And I think George showed that in terms of the kickboxing-esque head push and calf kicks that he used on Sinsamut. We spoke about it in the pre-fight interview with him when he said he learned it with Haggerty in training, and I think he exposed that in this fight. He showed it to us, and I thought there's something interesting. He never really throws those kind of kicks, which is I think is a new weapon to the Muay Thai game. And also George's boxing is not traditional Muay Thai boxing. It's almost a little bit of traditional boxing style, the way he puts the Philly shell and the way he rolls. He was making Sinsamut commit to that feint so consistently, which allowed George to land the left and the right hooks on him, because he had him biting on that movement every single time. I think George is going to be a problem, dude. Honestly, at 25 years old, he has nothing to rush. Nothing to rush. I think what one should consider doing is actually try and maximize the roster a little bit more for lightweight Muay Thai. Like, let's get a little bit more guys in there and let them fight a little bit more, because then George doesn't have to worry about if he loses to Reagan Ursel. It's like, now what do I do? Because there will be enough more roster to compete again to get back there. Because I'm one of those guys that I don't really find a problem if a guy fights another guy 3 or 4 times. If you're that good and you're number one and you beat the other guys, you should fight the champion again. I know you lost him 3 times, but I mean, what do you do next then? Do we stagnate the division because this guy fought him 3 times, or what? You know what I'm saying? What do you think?
Yeah, it's. The only worry I'd have is if he loses to Ursel again, then you saw what happened with Alexei Nicholas, right? He lost to Ursel twice.
Yeah.
And they cut him, It's like they clearly weren't interested in doing a 4th, and but I think you're right. I was perhaps a bit harsh on George's kickboxing. I think he does have I'm not saying he doesn't have the skills to do very well in kickboxing. I don't think he wants to do it, and I don't think we haven't seen what he could fully do in that rule set. But when you hang around with guys like Haggerty, who's so comfortable doing both, I think George has probably picked up a lot from him. Like you said, he was using that in this fight, and I'm sure he could adapt very well. But I just like to see him kind of focus on one thing. I like to see all fighters focus on one, and unless they're just freaks of nature. Like, I think Haggerty you can put there, and Superlek is good enough to do both.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we've seen Rodtang like fully. I know he knocked out Takeru, but his kickboxing, I'm really interested to see if this Takeru rematch goes longer, what happens with Rodtang, because I don't know. I think no one's giving Takeru any chance, but he could do something there, get a decision if he can just survive that early pressure. But what was your question? On the tangent.
It was just about George's. You actually answered it. It was about the kickboxing,
Okay.
and it's not a problem. I'm inclined to agree with everything that you just said there, so it's not a problem. But I want to wish George well. And for Sinsamut also good recovery. I hope to see Sinsamut back. He's only 30 years old, so I think he can still go. You know what I mean?
Love Sinsamut, and I think there was a year ago, just over a year, he fought in Impact Arena, 170, I think it was, and he beat Al Takriti, I think it was. Let me just double check that. And
it was Nazareth Trujillo.
Oh, sorry, yeah, now it's at Trujillo. Noiri fought Al Takriti. My bad. Cut. He fought Nazareth Trujillo at 170 in Impact Arena, and first round TKO, 50k bonus. And before that fight, he was telling me in the interview, I might retire if I lose this, because he was on a 2-fight losing streak to Menchikov and Youssef. And you never know if he's being serious. He's quite a dramatic guy to play around, and but yeah, he's now on a 2-fight losing streak again, and I hope he just doesn't get into this funk mentally again that he was in before, because I think we can almost forget about the Nikki Hoskin one. That just was a bit of a weird thing. It was kickboxing as well, which isn't his forte either. So I think he should look at it as like, I'm 1-3, and one of those losses was to Youssef, and it was a decision, close fight. The other was to Menchikov, who has been busted for banned substances, multiple banned substances, and you just take one look at him. Leave it there. But you saw what he did the other night on RWS as well. To poor old, I think it was Josh Hill, George's training partner from back in the day, I think. So I wouldn't get too down about it if I'm him. I just keep plugging away. He's always going to be like in and around I don't know, that you could use a football metaphor, like he's always in the top 4, the Champions League places. He's like your Chelsea or whatever. And there'll be sometimes he's like gonna win big fights, sometimes he's gonna lose, and his day may yet come. But I think it's just it's tough. It's tough to mentally, because you can think, oh, okay, there's one guy better than me, Rooyen Ursel. Now it's like, oh, are there 2 guys better than me? How am I going to get back to the belt? That's mentally tough. If you think Jarvis is 25 years old, will I ever hold that belt again? Why am I even doing this? These are questions that are going to come in his head. But not everyone can win the world title, and they can still have great careers and have a lot of fame and a lot of money, and maybe he will have that fairy tale win one day, but he won't if he gives up. So he's just got to keep going, and Mehdi Zatu is going to have to bring him back to that mental level. But if anyone can do it, Mehdi can.
100%. Like you mentioned earlier, the losses that he has in his career are against the guys who are fighting for the titles. Menchikov fought for the title. Asuek is a top level guy. Hoskin legend. So I don't think you should take a lot of it as like, oh, what next? You lost against the guys at the time. They were at the peak. They were the best, and like we said, they're still the best. So I don't think you should consider hanging up the gloves, because he's one of the big guys, one of the big stars. There's not many Thai fighters that are actually at lightweight. Let's be real about that. There's not many of them there.
Yeah, it's just not a body shape that is quite common in Thailand or in Asia. It's tough. That's why one don't really fill out those weight classes much, because they have to bring them in from Europe or America. You know what I mean? So he is definitely a rare bit of body shape for the region, and I'm sure they pushed him pretty hard at the beginning. I think they were hoping he'd beat Ursel, because they've never really liked Rooyen Ursel. I find one championship, just my observation. Not that I've not heard this from anyone, but I feel like they never got behind him in the way they have others. And he said the same thing in interviews with me, that they need to promote me more. I think they're starting to. Maybe after he beat Jarvis, there was a little bit of a kind of Ursel movement among fans. Talk of pound for pound. I definitely have him in my pound for pound top 3 in one championship, across like the striking. But I forgot again what you said. I hope I answered it. I'm a little brain foggy today.
No, it's all good. I didn't even ask a question. It's all good. I think what we could do is we can move on to Ty Rotolo, because I have a question for you, man. I kind of feel, to be honest with you, that the Rotolo twins should consider just like leaving the submission grappling. Becoming a little bit stale. It's not stale in the sense of the performances. The performances are wonderful to watch, but it's like they've been in all the time, and at 22 years old, it might even be better for them to just commit to MMA. Because then you give yourself at least 10 to 12 years of being an MMA star. You can grow in that sport. You're really so good at jiu-jitsu. Now you're just focusing on MMA. Who knows how far you can go there, right? So I wanted to get your thoughts on the title, Tolo, in terms of like, would that be the next best move for him? I know you mentioned Cade's probably going to have a fight for you soon, and if you have anything on that Cade fight as well.
Well, I think they'll always be in the grappling side of things because one needs stars to lead the grappling for them. I think it's already a tough sell to get striking fans behind the grappling, and the only way they can do it is having these personalities. And Mikey Musumeci was great at that, and it's a shame he ended up leaving. I thought Danielle Kelly was good. I was surprised they released her too. And I know she lost to the Mesa Bastos, but Mesa's gone now. I may just bring Danielle back. Why not? But Ty and Cade, I'll tune in if they're grappling. But if it's someone who's not them grappling against Pavel Jaworski, unless I'm a grappling aficionado. If I'm a casual, I'm not going to watch it. I just don't really know either guy, But Ty has kind of crept a little into that mainstream, so has Cade, and that's to their credit and to One Championship's credit. So I think they'll always be doing the grappling, and they probably get paid well to do it. But definitely the future lies in MMA. I think long term, there may come a point. You're right, where they just have to pick MMA solely, but. I think the thing I said to Ty in my interview with him was, the fact you can just not even do grappling for so long and be focusing on MMA, then just come back and not even get out of second gear or whatever, but still be the next best guy they can find. Fairly. I know it was a little dramatic in the end, but I felt like there wasn't a doubt that Ty won. But to just that says a lot about how good they are, and I think it means they will be able to hop between both sports, and even if they were to lose the belts because they were a bit rusty, that just makes a nice storyline where they can go and get it back and creates a bit of drama in the division. So I don't expect them to be stripped of the belts or anything like that and told to focus on MMA. But I think for me the intrigue really is, how good are they? How good can they be in MMA? Can they go all the way? I think they can. I really think they can be whatever they want to be in MMA.
I agree. Like, what do you think about the storylines between you got the Tolo brothers versus the Lee brothers? You got. I know Christian's got both titles, but let's just say, for example, he relinquishes the lightweight one and focuses on welterweight, and then Adrian Lee captures the lightweight title. You could go the Tolo versus Lee and sell that as a big card. You know what I mean? You could go Cade against Adrian and Ty against Christian on the same card.
Yeah, it could be a rivalry that just kind of dominates one for the next 10 years, or it could be one-sided in the Rotolo's favor or the Lee's favor. We don't know. I think for me, Christian's got to defend that welterweight belt. I know he's about to, or if he hasn't already had his fourth kid, he's about to, but he won it 4 years ago, something like that. November 2022, I think. So maybe 3 years and a bit. He needs to defend it or vacate, or they will, do an interim. And he said to me like, "Oh, there's no deserving challengers," but I think you could make a case for Soldic and Kadestam, and maybe there's another one knocking around now. Well, there was Isi Careful, but he just lost to Chase Mann with an injury. I think Kadestam and Soldic. So he's got to defend that. And Ty sort of said to me, I don't think I want to do welterweight MMA. These guys maybe a little big. So I think there's a weird moment's going to come where Ty and Cade have got to decide who goes for the belt and then they'll fight each other. So there could be a Lee versus Ruotolo's rivalry. Tai may eventually kind of pack on that muscle he needs to compete at welterweight in MMA. I think it's Adrian his development is also still, we don't know how good he's going to be.
Yeah.
He looked very good, but he's not answered every question, and I think, I mean, he's obviously amazing for his age, but Tai kind of showed him up a bit there, and that was Tai's debut, you know what I mean, which Tai's only going to get better and better doing this, and Adrian's been doing it his whole life, you imagine. So
Yeah.
can he close that gap? Still young enough, yes, and I think, Christian got better and better and better the older he got. He debuted when he was 18 or something and won, and he just dramatically improved very suddenly at age, I can't remember what age it was, but around 2019 when I started watching it, he just suddenly stepped up a level. So Adrian may yet just click and then become unstoppable. But no, you're right. It could be a rivalry that just defines the next decade in one's lightweight and welterweight MMA divisions, and I'd love that. Yeah,
You see it. They're not far in age. You know what I mean? The gap's not that big. Like we were talking about Sinsamut being 30 and George being 25, and Sinsamut's probably gonna think, okay, I lost to the guy that's pretty much on his way to be the next consistent title challenger or possible champion, and he's 25. In 5 years, am I ever gonna catch that title again? You know what I mean? And I think with Cade and the Toto brothers and the Lee brothers, because they're all of them are under 20, they're all under 30 essentially. I think there's a lot to keep our eyes on the future of MMA.
I mean, how old is Christian even now? He's still so young.
He's young. I think he's like 28, 27, 28, if I'm not mistaken.
It's terrifying.
What did you say?
Yeah, he's 27. Yeah.
Look there. That's what I'm saying, you know. They're not that old, these guys. They can go on for a
Christian
while.
Lee is arguably not even in his peak, and he's missed essentially the last 3 years, like most of it. You know, he was out for 2 years at least, and then there was a year between his title defenses at lightweight against Rasulov. He's missed a lot of time, you know. So I wonder what he could have been by now, or you know, I know there was a tragedy with his sister, but yeah, I wonder how have we been robbed of an even better Christian Lee, or are we still going to see it? He could still level up, you know.
I think he can. I think he certainly can. But what will allow him to level up is contenders. He needs to be fighting. He needs to be performing to get better. You know, he can't just be in the gym the whole time. So he has to perform at some point.
Yeah, it's weird because after his win in Tokyo in November, Chatri said, you know, we're going to really make Christian active in 2026. And, you know, we're thinking like 3 fights, which is music to my ears because, 2020, 2019, 2020, 2021, whatever, Christian Lee was just like smashing out those fights, and people were genuinely like, this guy could beat Khabib or whatever. You know, they were like, this guy could be a UFC champion, you know. Then, the discourse around him is kind of quieting down now, which is a shame because I think he deserves to be in those conversations. He is that good. So, I'd love to see Christian Lee be a bit more active. If they stop having kids every year. Lovely wife. They've got 4 now. Maybe that's enough. But
what is he trying to do? Anyway,
building an army. Yeah.
Wishing him all the best, but we want to see him back ASAP. Nick, you said something earlier about the Holskin and Sinsamut fight. It's a little bit weird, right? I like that you use that because for me, we're gonna move on to the next fight now with John Lineker and Billis, and I find this fight to be a little bit weird. Taking nothing away from Ben's performance. I thought it was he to do what he had to do. He did it in a way that was very emphatic. I like what I saw. I'm not gonna lie. Also, when I watched tape on Ben prior to this fight, I thought he was going to beat John. I was like, he's going to beat this guy. He's so much better, so much bigger. It's a weight that he moves naturally at. Boxing's fantastic. And John Lineker, let's be real, like John Lineker's peak was never really going to be at featherweight. 155 is not John Lineker. I just thought that this fight looked strange. He looked a little bit like Eddie always says, Geodude from Pokemon. I was just like, this guy, it doesn't make sense for him to fight this weight class. You know what I mean? And also in a discipline that doesn't really suit him. You know, I think John Lineker's 4-ounce Muay Thai gloves at bantamweight, sign me up. Sign me up to watch him all day. That's a division for him. I don't care who he fights. He has a fair chance of beating anybody that class. So in this fight, I just wanted to ask you, personally for me, I felt the fight was a little bit like geared for Ben Willis to get the job done. I'm not saying there's any match fixing, but I just felt like even the odds made it. They made it that I'm not sure if Ben was the underdog, but in my eyes, I thought Lineker was an overwhelming underdog here. I just didn't see him getting the job done.
So yeah, Ben was the underdog in that fight. Quite a big underdog, in fact. Yeah.
Strange, very strange, because like everything was gearing for Ben to win here. Like John was up against the wall, in my opinion. Not his weight class, not his discipline, couldn't move. It's just not for him to win. What's your thoughts, Nick, on this fight?
Well, I just didn't have any clue what Ben Willis was going to bring, and I just didn't know because I was in the minority. I hadn't really ever heard of him, and I know he's got a huge following on Instagram. And then when I checked it out, I was like, oh, I haven't seen this guy. And then I'm thinking, is he just an influencer though, or can he actually fight? And those were the doubts I had. And I looked at his pro MMA record, and he was 4-0, which always looks nice. But I looked at the opponents he's fought, and their combined record was like 0-16 or something. So you're like, okay, that's a red flag. And his fight in the PFL, sure, that's a good level, but yeah, who's the opponent? And then you can tell they're probably trying to set him up with someone he can knock out and get a viral moment. And because of his fame, they want to use that fame. So then I look at this and I'm like, right, Lineker, they can't just be trying to feed Ben Willis to someone to get knocked out, like, because they probably want to use his fame. But Lineker is like just a good enough name and a scary enough name with his reputation, where you're thinking, well, he could get his head taken clean off. He should, if he is the real deal, like he says, he should be able to, use that kickboxing to beat Lineker, and he did. And I think everything you say is right. This isn't Lineker's weight class. This isn't. I mean, no, but Ben says he wants to go down to bantamweight next time anyway. But this isn't his sport. It's not his weight class. And I just really want to let's end this experiment of John Lineker doing Muay Thai and kickboxing. Like, let's just get him back in MMA, taking people's heads off. That's what we came to see. No one. The experiment was fun while it lasted in Muay Thai. But as soon as he fought any kind of decent name in Muay Thai, I think Kulabdam, he did drop him, but Kulabdam came back and kind of dominated him, and then Akimoto as well in kickboxing. So, and Kulabdam's not even like a top guy in Muay Thai. Akimoto is a former champ, but I don't think you're getting the best value out of Lineker in that. Just put him back in MMA. But I'm sure he probably wants to do MMA, but he's being told like, well, we don't have so many MMA fights for you, but we got this. And he just wants to fight. He moved to Thailand, I think, last year to get more fights. And
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I didn't really know what to make of this one, to be honest, going in, and then I'm still not sure what to make of it. Like, they were both limping like crazy afterwards. Ben was limping around, and John was limping around. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I felt also. For me, it felt like it was just fan service, like when John Lineker's on the card, everybody gets hyped, you know what I mean? And I think that's what it felt like. But I just felt
casuals will tune in, MMA casuals.
Okay, Nick, so we're currently on 34 minutes. I don't want to keep you up longer than an hour. So I'm going to go through the card a little bit and only talk about some of the fights that I thought you found interesting. So, for example, let's go to you versus Super Black. I think this fight's got a lot of implications, a lot of things that we can talk about here, because you mentioned you early on about
the other dog is turned up. Yeah,
exactly. I saw some tails moving there, so I was like, you know what? Let's get this moving. Moving.
He's looking at me. He wants his lunch or dinner. Yeah, but no, it's fine, man. Just whatever you need.
Okay, I'm gonna go to you because I feel like, even though I think Lee Seung Chul is a problem in strawweight, I feel like he's gonna be the top name in that division. He did fight against someone that came in as a little bit of an unknown figure, so I don't want to put too much on that one. But I do want to talk about you and Sewer Black because this fight has got a lot, right? And the first thing I want to ask you is, Sewer Black at flyweight? Yes, no.
Hard pass from me. Yeah, I knew this was going to happen, right? I love Sewer Black. He's such a nice guy, and he's a really fun fighter, very popular, has this cool gimmick with the legs, and he's just in a tough spot because I think his chin's too weak at bantamweight now, and I don't think he can make flyweight, and he kind of leaves his body compromised when he does it. I mean, he tried to do it against Estupinan, but he got sick. You know, but I think he was probably sick because of the weight cut. You know what I mean? So that fight got called off, and then this time he was just totally drained, trying to make 135. I don't think he had 5 pounds to lose. You know, he was already kind of really pushing the limit. He's very shredded, even at 145, and then he did 140 against Sexan, and I was surprised he made that, but he looked great. I think that he's one of those fighters. 140 is who are in between weight classes, and that's fine on Friday fights, guys like Sexan. But when you're up on the main roster, they don't do those fights really. I don't think so. You have to fit into the traditional weight classes. So he's in a tough spot, and I think he's better off maybe just doing the tentpole Friday fight shows, which he had been doing, but I think they like to use him on both because of his popularity. But this was absolutely feeding him to the wolves here. If you want to put him in a rule set he's not, best at, and a weight class he's gonna struggle to get to against a guy who's like the next big thing potentially.
Yes.
Yeah, tough one, but huge. I love this guy. I've been talking about him ever since I saw him fight on the first time on Friday Fights or whatever it was. I really like him, and I talked to Mehdi quite a lot at every show, and Mehdi told me from the beginning, like, this guy's so good, and I trust it when Mehdi tells me that, because he said the same thing about Asadullah Mangazaliev, who is fighting for the belt this weekend, who Joe Rogan can't shut up about now. And Mehdi knows a fighter when he sees one, and he told me he's going to be a champ, and they've always kind of earmarked him as that next big homegrown Japanese star, because they haven't developed a Japanese star themselves, until now. I think this is the guy.
Yeah, it sounds like he's the first coming from Venom as a Japanese kickboxer, at least from what I've gathered so far. But I agree with you, Sewer Black, not flyweight for me. I never liked him there. I think bantamweight where he should be, 145 is where he should stay. But I think this kid is something else, man. Special. I think he should be as patient as he is. I like that he called out Taiki Naito and not Rodang or Superlek immediately. I know you mentioned their names. I know that I liked what he said. Taiki Naito first, because he needs to get that tune-up fights first before getting into those high-level profile fights with Rodang. And considering the fact that Rodang and Takeo is fighting for an interim title, Superlek is still the champion in that division. So for me, it looks like Rodang, Takeo winner there gets Superlek. Superlek comes back as flyweight, not bantamweight. I think he should, by the way. You know what I mean? I think that would be the next fight, and that's why I think the Taiki Naito fight for you makes a lot of sense. You agree?
Yeah, you when you have a star like this, potential future star, you want to build them up. You don't want to just throw them in the deep end, and then you might, if they whiff, on the first shot, it could damage them a lot. Just take your time with Hugh. I think that Naito is the next level. Definitely, he's that gatekeeper role. And I love Taiki Naito as well. I think he's great. He deserves way more fights, way more respect. It's a tough fight as well. He's very experienced, and I don't think it's a role, like a walkover for Hugh. This will easily be his toughest fight in one. Yeah, and I've been enjoying the back and forth between them on socials. Yeah, they've been in my DMs, in my notifications, because I think I tagged Taiki Naito in something saying Hugh has called him out, and then they've been going back and forth. Yeah.
Really? What did they say?
Oh, I'll try and find it, but yeah, he was saying like, Oh yeah, it's just like a whole rabbit hole. So I originally posted a picture of Hugh saying, backstage saying Hugh wants Rodtang or Super Leg, but he called out Naito next for the Japan card. Then I tagged Taiki Naito in the reply, and then Taiki said no problem. And then Hugh said, "If you fight me, you'll be knocked out. See you." then Naito said, "You're good, but you're not special. You're only doing easy fights." And he said, "Like, if you fight me, you'll be knocked out. That's my line." Then Hugh said, "That's disrespectful to my comrades. You are the easiest fight."
Oh,
Yeah,
there
there you
could
go.
be beef. There could be some beef between these guys when they. I hope Chowdhury sees this and says, "Listen, let's book these guys in." I think Taiki deserves it because I mean, like you mentioned, he's one of the guys that's such a high level guy and doesn't really get the praise. We were almost getting him on an interview once before. We were trying to work that in. Um, I want to see that fight. I want to see it. I think it's the natural progression for the division as well. But good one, Nick. Let's keep it moving. You mentioned early. I'm going to take us to Anna Supergirl Jarunsuk, which she lost to Yuyapi. Very good fight for as long as it lasted. I wanted to see 3 rounds, to be honest with you. But okay, we got a finish. It was nice, but very very for me bittersweet to see Supergirl retire. I'm not gonna lie. I think she's super talented. I think at 22, there's so much for her to give. There's so much more for her to give to the sport. But I understand the reasonings as to why she announced her retirement. Always stick to that. I completely understand. But how do you feel about it though? Because like I said, it's a little bit bittersweet feeling for me.
Oh, same. Yeah, bittersweet. It's just I watched the fight back and she feel like she looks like she doesn't want to be in there, and
Mm,
that's when you're at that stage you shouldn't be in there, and it's remarkable because I think back to some of her other fights I've seen when she fought Stamp. That was a barn burner, and
yes.
Stamp got the 50K and the split decision, but there was such a groundswell of support for Supergirl saying she deserves a 50K as well. And I asked Chatri on a live interview saying, should you have given her 50K? And Chatri said, oh, maybe I should have, And then the next week on Friday Fights, it was the first show of Friday Fights. Chatri, they brought her into the ring and gave her 50K. That's how
Wow.
highly thought of she was. And she also that fight with Katerina Vanderieva, who's a very good fighter. And then, it's just, and then she beat Lara as well, who's kind of there or thereabouts. But the Morales one just seemed to, bring everything to a juddering halt. And then she had a lot of time off, and they were doing the gym with the family, and somewhere along the way she's lost that passion. But then what she was saying was also quite alarming because it sounds like she never really wanted to do it in the first place. And that's another worrying sign because it's not that long ago we had Victoria Lee and that horrible situation there where she took her own life, and Angela Lee posted about it eventually saying like she had tried to take her own life as well with this, intentionally crashing her car. I remember covering that when it happened in 2017, I think it was, and we had no idea that it was a suicide attempt from Angela, and that she said she talked openly about how it was the pressure of fighting and not being able to talk about it. And I think Supergirl, there's a lot of people talking in my mentions about it and saying, oh, she's just quit, she knows she's not good enough, she maybe she can come back. It's like, it's not, doesn't matter what you think. It's the only person that matters what she thinks, right? And if she says this, I have had these depressive thoughts and panic attacks, and I only did this to keep my family together. That was a really sad thing. Like, then we need to listen to her and let her decide, because I genuinely just saw the smile on her face backstage. I posted about it as well, but like the relief that washed over her, I looked at that and I just thought, you've made the right decision here. There's some fighters who retire and I think like, I'm not sure. You
Yeah.
could probably still do this. I think you'd still be quite good at it. But yeah, this one is definitely something we should respect and let her make the decision. And yeah, we just have the memories of Supergirl, and it was brief but bright. Yeah, I enjoyed her career, and hopefully she stays in the sport in some way. I think she will be. Well, she has her gym, yeah. So hopefully she can train some new fighters, and maybe coaching is going to be an avenue for her. But I think her dad's catching a lot of strays on social.
Oh my word.
Yeah, he put out a statement yesterday. I kind of saw it loosely translated on Google Translate or whatever, but a lot of people are saying, "Oh, why did you put all this pressure on her?" Da, da, da. There he is, yeah, and you know,
Yeah.
a lot of parents like this in Muay Thai and combat sports. They you don't know how far you're pushing your kid until like it breaks, and sometimes you have to push them if to get them to where they need to be.
Yeah.
At that level, you've got to be harsh on them. You got to push them, but some of them just can't take it. And
Yeah.
I think it's better that it comes out now when she's 22.
True.
And she's still young and can live her life, than it sort of happens when she's 35 and she's broken down and just like.
Ooh, be a night. I like what you said. You mentioned that she said that it was never really for her. It was for the family. So she wasn't doing it for her own personal reasons, for her own fulfillment. So that for me will always leave doubt in the fighter's mind. And you could see it there. But she did say, I don't know if she's teasing the fans or not, but she did say that she doesn't hate Muay Thai. She likes Muay Thai. I mean, it's a tradition in Thailand. Obviously, they all have to love it. And there is a potential. When you asked her, would you come back? She did say she's not sure. You never know what the future looks like. So for me, I take that as a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, she could. If she goes away for a few years and then rebuilds. I think she's just got to get to a point where like she takes that pressure off herself. That she's doing it for other people. Like you, Yelp, was talking about. Like I need to do it for myself, not for Hong Kong.
Yes.
I need to and she rediscovered that. And if Supergirl can go away and refine that passion for just actually getting in the ring and punching people.
You never know.
Why not? Yeah, but I think she put a lot of pressure, as she's saying, on she was doing it to keep her parents from splitting up, which is a horrible thing for a child, to go through. So.
Yeah, you don't need to. That's pressure. That's a lot of pressure. That's something that can really break somebody, any person. But okay, Nick, let's quickly move on to because I like you up here. I could talk about it a lot, but I want to keep moving. Jeremy Miado and Willie van Rooyen was the opening bout of the fight card, and for me, like outside of the main event, this is probably the fight of the night. And I'm non-biased, and to put bias aside, I know it's Willie van Rooyen, but the performance was a three-round banger. I mean, there was a second round moment where Jeremy actually put the pace on Willie and tagged him a few times, had him going backwards a lot of the times with his boxing. The fight was nice and back and forth and very entertaining for me. But Willie, at the end of the day, put on a very good performance and did what he needed to do. And I didn't think he was going to get the TKO. I thought he was going to win on decision, but he got the TKO. So well done to that. But what's your thoughts on his performance, and what do you think for him going forward in one championship?
Yeah, Willie, that first round, I was thinking, oh man, because Jeremy was kind of lighting him up, and I thought this is a bit of a dumb game plan to try and box with Miado, because Miado's got good hands, and I like Jeremy's boxing. And I'm not too clued up on Willie, but I thought he was more of a grappling guy. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's like a striker, but I thought he was gonna go to the ground very quickly with Jeremy and just do what Avezbek did. But he decided, I'm gonna stand and bang. And I thought you might get knocked out here. But then the second round, the tide just turned, and he made some kind of adjustments in between rounds. And I think his dad, he was telling me in the interview, his dad told him something. They made a little adjustment, and it started to pay off. And you could sense there was a sea change, in the second round. And then there was no way he was going to lose the fight. Like you said, it was kind of going towards a decision, but it was a very entertaining decision. It's rare. One's MMA. It was like a total BMF fight. You know what I mean? I think it was like UFC BMF style, two MMA guys just standing. really fun fight. And then Willie just surprised me. Yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't sure what to expect from him. We didn't see the best of him in that debut, but he really showed to me he's going to be a player in flyweight division for a long time. He's quite young, and I think he's definitely going to be in the mix at the top. So we'll see what happens with Avazbek and Yuya.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be facing the champion at some stage, whoever that is. And I'm just very impressed by him, to be honest. Like I said, I didn't know what he was going to bring. I didn't know his level, his ceiling. But seeing what I saw the other day, I'm very excited now about Willie van Rooyen. I hope I pronounced his name right.
Oh, you're saying that right? I think with
Rooyen.
W's are pronounced with a V.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but I agree with you. I think his level's quite high. At 24 years old, and being a former champion at EFC, excuse me. I felt that the way he fought that was going to be the keys to victory. He's overwhelming with pressure, switch your stances. The big thing he changed for me was using that left hook off the back foot. It was beautiful. That's what was tagging Miado a lot when he came in with his aggression. I'm not going to get too much into depth of that. So we have an interview with Willie on Thursday, which I will get more in depth of that with him himself. I think to add to what you were saying, I think if you're going to be a top level MMA guy, especially in this division, look at the guys who are on top. They can strike and wrestle. They don't just strike. They can do all of it, right? They can put on a pace, which I think what Willie actually introduced in this fight, which is why he got the job done. But yeah, big performance, big win. Super happy for him. But I think before we let you go, Nick,
and Miado, I just want to say, like he doesn't really often get kind of knocked out or whatever. He's been submitted a few times and lost a bunch of decisions, but it's rare to see him kind of get just outclassed like that on the feet. Maybe from his earlier days in one. He's been there a while, but in recent times he's been putting it together pretty well with his gym, Pichai, Muay Thai, and MMA in Phuket. They really upped his game. Campbell Symes and Colt K down there with his takedown defense and his grappling. So that was a really good win for Willie, I think. And I know Jeremy's record ain't the best. That's like 6 losses now in his last 7, I think. But don't take anything away from Willie. That was impressive.
100%. I've always rated Jeremy. Even coming to this fight, I was very skeptical about it. I wasn't even going to make a pick for this fight. But then the day before the fight, I was like, you know what? Let me go with Willie on it. But I always rated Jeremy. I thought the guy's top level. And Willie even said it himself to you that he tried taking him down, and he couldn't. You know what I mean?
He's worked hard on that.
He tried, but Jeremy just defended it really well, and that's what you were saying. He's a hard guy to take down defense on top.
Yeah, I really hope they don't cut Jeremy, because I think he's kind of had a rebirth in the last few fights, and I still think he's very valuable, and he's the kind of guy you want in MMA. He goes in with bad intentions, He's not there to smother you and try and get a choke or lay and pray, whatever. He's always trying to knock people out. So I hope One Championship don't release Jeremy.
Please don't, Charlie. Please don't do this.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick, we're approaching an hour, so I just quickly, we don't have to go too much in depth with it.
That's all good, man. I've got time. Yeah, just do what you got to do.
Okay, I want to draw your attention to the Friday fight card. Right? We're not going to talk much about the bonus winning performances and then like Pecha Wallet, for example, which I thought was very good, but there was moments in the fight where I felt that he was actually found out. To his defense, he's only 18 years old. He will level up as time goes on. But I want to draw your attention to the 2 no contest, or the 1 no contest, but double eye pokes. But the one result is and it confused me and a lot of the guys that was in our live stream as well, because we don't actually fully understand what the rules are after what we witnessed. Right? So the first one I'll bring your attention to is the fight between Prab Suk and Hee Yen Nguyen. If we can go down there. Yes, so this fight, if I remember correctly, the eye poke came in the second round.
I think it was.
I think it was midway through the second round, because Prab Suk arguably lost that first round, but then looked fantastic in the second round. The boxing was on point. Yen looked very tired, and his hands were coming low, and Prab Suk was just tagging him. Eye poke happens, second round, fight goes to no contest. Now, I don't know. I thought that once a fight passes the first round, then it shouldn't go to a no contest. It should go to a judge's scorecard. But this one went to a no contest. I don't know if that's. It's very confusing. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if you know what that means, Nick. And then there was other fight where something happened as well with Zhang Jinwu and Suleiman. I saw you had an interview, or there was backstage with Suleiman, and that fight only went to the first round, and the second round didn't start, but it was resulted in a TKO finish. Now I don't know what the difference is here, besides the one going to the second round and the other not going to the second round. Can you help us figure out what the situation is then, why that was like that?
Yeah, I got in a little bit of trouble because I was backstage, and then I kind of missed the Zhang Suleiman incident, and I was asking another Thai media like, what happened? And then because it looked like very confusing, and he said, oh, I think he was like, oh, the medical team ruled that it was an elbow that hurt the eye, not the finger poke, so they gave it a TKO. I was like, all right, so I put that out there, and then I got a message from some people some of the officials, and they were like, no, that didn't happen. So I got sold some fake news by someone who shall not be named, Muay Man meme on Instagram. No, it's fine. But yeah, they explained to me. I just said, okay, can you just tell me what happened? Because I don't understand. If it's an eye poke, why is it not a no contest? And they said, yeah, well, so the eye poke happens, that we have the medical timeout, and the coach, and the doctor looks at him, and both the fighter and the doctor agreed to go on. Then the round ends, and then Zhang says, I can't carry on.
Yes.
So if you quit on the stool for whatever reason, it's an automatic TKO, right?
Yes.
No, like, oh, well, we'll go back to that medical timeout. We already finished. Mm-hmm. So the rule is, they go by the book, TKO, okay. I can no longer fight. Coach, can't fight doc, can't fight ref. So they go, all right, TKO. And I think Olivier was a bit confused. We all were. And the guy walked off, right, Zhang, and then they had to bring him back in the ring to take his L. So
makes sense. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah,
you're right, because when we were debating on it live, I think I said to our live chat at the time, I think why it's a TKO is because it looked like Zhang was doing this, the hand gesture was this, and the left eye was closed. The doctor looked at him, the coach looked at him, and I saw Zhang look at his coach, and he went like this, a small little hand gesture. So then I said to the live stream, I think he might have just thrown in the white towel there, because the second round didn't start, and then it was a TKO. And I thought, okay, the only way it can be TKO is if his coach said he can't fight, just can't continue. You're clearing that,
Yeah, I think they thought they're gonna get the no contest, which for me is surprising because it's Mehdi's to it, and Mehdi should know the rules clearly. Yes. But maybe I've never seen that happen, and I don't think anyone else has. So maybe it's just one of those things where they had to be the first to experience that. Maybe I would have thought the rule would have come into play. Yeah, like, well, if it's still the eye injury bugging him, then no contest. But yeah, TKO. And then the second one was just more standard. Yeah, they did the medical timeout. The guy couldn't continue. As to, I think you asked, like, why isn't it go to the scorecards or whatever? I think they do that in MMA if it's past halfway point, but not on the Muay Thai. I've seen that happen in a fight. It was Edward Falayang versus someone with a really long, unpronounceable name in Manila. And that there was an injury, and Falayang won a technical decision.
Interesting.
Because that's the only time I've ever seen it happen in one. I think it may have been a couple others, but who was it? Jesus. It was in November 2019. Technical decision, because it was halfway through the second round, and
that was MMA.
Yeah, MMA. So they were like 6 seconds over the halfway point, and then this guy Amasana Suguku. I can't remember who got the cut, but if you pass halfway, they may have changed that rule, but Falayang got the decision. They go to the scorecards and see who's ahead at the point. In Muay Thai, I just don't think they have that in the rule set, so it has to become a no contest.
Makes sense.
I might be wrong.
That reminds me of the Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong fight when he got eye poked, but then it went to Song
Yeah,
Yadong.
I think it just sucks because they were talking about bringing in new gloves last year, I remember, and Chatri, I messaged Chatri about it, and he was going big on it. I don't think it ever happened, but he said like we're gonna eliminate eye pokes or whatever. I'm all for it, but this keeps happening, you know, in one, and it happens in the UFC.
Yes.
How great would it be if one really did get rid of eye pokes and brought in the new gloves and made UFC look foolish, you know? Yeah.
I think it's quite difficult to do that. I think eye pokes is a given, just because it's not necessarily I'm gonna poke you in the eye purposefully, but fighters are getting caught when fighters are measuring each other. You know, there you go, boom, eye poke. It's not often you see people doing it on purpose. But anyway, hopefully we can mitigate it. But I almost feel like it's a given with the sport. But last thing from me,
I just think you can do the curved. That's the thing, right? Cover the knuckle, and then.
But then you're eliminating wrestlers, and they can't grapple.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Eliminating wrestlers. Fuck it.
You become a disadvantage to them. You know what I mean? I think someone's gonna lose if that happens. So I feel because then you can't.
They would level the playing field, if anything, between like the grapplers and the strikers. You know.
I don't know. Me personally, I feel like just do better if for the strikers to deal with it, because
don't do that. Like
don't do that.
Close your fist. Yeah,
it's difficult. I think it's difficult for guys. I know.
But they're always
they're always doing that.
You're feeling someone out. Like, it's like stop doing that. Stop.
Even the eye poke between not Suleiman's one. It was the second one I asked you about now. The Yi and Nuang fight.
Yeah.
The eye poke came because Yi was basically parrying and then throwing a kick. He didn't. It was like he was on the back foot, and when he pushed his hand out, it was like, you know, it's so difficult to let these guys go. Keep your fingers closed when you drilled like this 1,000 times every day. It's hard to get it out.
I'm sure a lot of them train in bigger gloves as well. So they're probably not thinking about it, you know. And then it's just natural to them too. Maybe they can train in some sort of more padded version of with the fingerless glove. I don't know, but
it's hard to get that out. My last thing, Nick, my last one here is Tung Minh Ang fought against Pet Cao Kradong. That was a late replacement for Tung Minh Ang to take on Pet. The fight was at welterweight, not at lightweight. Very interesting. But watching that fight back, there was 2 fights on this fight card where it looked like it was a little bit of a weird judging decision, because we're watching that fight back. Tung Minh Ang for me won round 1 and round 3. Clearly won those 2 rounds. Arguably even got the second one, but I think Pet Cao Kradong fought really well in the second round. Yeah. He lost on decision. And it caused the uproar in the live chat for One Championship. I'm not sure if you saw, but on their live chat, it was like everyone's going robbery.
Burmese fans, they're crazy.
Burmese fans are going crazy. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that, bro? Like, why we getting this every single week? And even the fight between Kong Mi Chai and Andrei Mezentsev was exactly the same. I had Kong Mi Chai winning 3 rounds. Kong Mi Chai, I thought Andrei Mezentsev won 3 rounds, but he lost the fight. I was just like, what's going on here?
So you thought it was Pet Cao Kradong should have lost, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people did, not just Burmese, but I think it happens. Yeah, they review a few fights lately. Yeah, I think they've been bringing in some new judges, and there's a few teething problems.
Okay.
Also, it's just very subjective. Like, I do speak to a lot of the judges, and I think they have a hard time because if there were 3 of them, right, obviously, and they're all sat at different seats around the ring, so they have a different angle on everything. And one person sees a shot from a certain side of the ring, it's going to look worse or better than the other person sees, and one person doesn't really see the damage that the shot does necessarily. The best thing you can do sometimes is watch the display, the monitor, but even then you're not seeing things that they'll see close up. So that's why you have 3. I think it balances out naturally. If they all come to the same conclusion that so-and-so won or whatever, I don't think this was a split, was it? It was it
was split.
Unanimous?
Which one?
The Tun Min Ong.
It was unanimous.
I mean, I'd have to watch it back and just because if all three of them have gone for this, then I think there's probably something in it. And often, we watch fights in the heat of the moment. We make claims of robberies, things like that.
Mhm.
But you maybe miss what the judges are seeing, and
Yes.
sometimes it's smaller things that are more important. And you might think, oh well, he did this, he did that, but it might be a simple explanation like, well, this thing did the most damage, and damage is a top criteria, or this or that, or those shots he was going for, they weren't really doing anything, they weren't landing. It's one worth watching back, but there have been fights as well that the judge have got it wrong, and normally when they do that, they do a rematch. And I think if there is, but foul play here, they'll do a rematch. And I think it's just sad because the Burmese are already really frustrated. They feel like they get robbed by the Thais all the time. They have this running joke on Facebook, calling one championship Thai championship instead.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Steam as well.
Maybe the judges have been bribed. Who knows? I don't think so. I don't think one are really into that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, thanks for clearing that up, though, Nick. I really wanted to ask someone that was on the floor that's there, that's witnessing this firsthand.
I thought it was close. Like maybe I need to rewatch it. But I mean, I was watching it backstage with Tun Minh, Sulaiman, and he was saying, like, at some point I asked him during the interview, what do you think? He was worried. He's like, I'm a bit worried. It's not looking good for I don't know.
Interesting. I can say for sure that Pet Takradang was like, he dominated that second round. I can't remember if there was a knockdown. I don't think there was. But I know he cracked him with big shots, like almost took him out. The fight was almost done. It was close to being finished in that second round, but then Tumang rallied back hard in the third round and pretty much put Pet on the back foot the whole third round. He forced Pet to clinch and not throw any strikes. He threw absolutely nothing. I just thought, what's going on here?
I'll have to watch it back, and maybe I'll get the scorecard and look at it. But it's just funny to me seeing welterweight Muay Thai. I thought it was seen that.
Well.
Yeah.
But also I think the bigger upset for me was the Mazentsev and Kumang Chai fight. I think that was the more obvious bad call. I think the Tuming fight, you could make an argument for Pet Takradang to get the win.
That was a split, yeah. So I imagine the scorecards were all over the place there. I haven't seen them.
I think if you want to watch it back, you can.
Yeah, there's 14 fights on these cards, and like you're probably going to get one every week. It's a bit iffy, maybe two. So.
Yes, 100%.
Those judges are probably very tired. There's a lot of fights.
I like that you put that up tired, because now I think it's a perfect time to segue into AD's question. That's it for me, Nick. Thank you so much for your time, but I appreciate it.
No,
very insightful. And I think AD has one question before we're done.
Yeah, just on that, do they use the same judges for the fight night card as they do for the Friday fights cards as well?
Yeah, so if they're doing the fight night, they'll be doing Friday as well. It doesn't mean they do every Friday, but if they've flown, because they fly them in from, I know Shane and Abby come from Australia.
Okay.
And they were both doing stuff on Friday, and Ian comes up from Chiang Mai, I think. So Ian goes every week because he lives in Thailand. Ian Cartwright. But there are other judges I'm not as familiar with, who I don't know if they're always there. But yeah, I've always kind of protected the judges and the refs, because it's a tough turnaround. The Friday night show and Saturday. So if there's an iffy ref call or judging, I do have sympathy for them. And there was recent times where Olivier was doing every fight on card on Saturday. And that was brutal. They got him some help now, thankfully. But,
thank goodness. You could see when he started with the card. Sorry, Eddie. You see when
he's relieved. Yeah, because they stopped using Herb, and then I think they were training up someone else. But there's always a bit of transition when you're getting new referees up to speed. And Olivier,
I think you've actually answered our next question there, Nick, because that was actually what I wanted to talk about, was the quick turnarounds. Because it seems like whenever we have these kind of back-to-backs with quick turnarounds, there's always a conversation around it a referee's call, and specifically, a lot of the times it is Olivia Cost. If you go on X, you can see there's quite a few people gunning for him a lot of the times. So I just basically wanted to get your comment on these quick turnarounds, and yeah, if you think that it is affecting the performance of the referees and the judges now, like you said. But I mean, I think you kind of covered it. But if there's anything else you want to add, please go ahead.
I wouldn't say it's like affecting them and making them make bad decisions and bad calls. I just think it's probably making them tired. I'm concerned on a human level, and they're just probably not at 100%, which might mean it creates a possibility of something happening. But there haven't been any times. I think Olivier, the hatred he gets, I don't understand it really. I love Olivier. I think he does a really good job, and like I said, doing the whole card, that's really rough. And he does stuff on the Friday before. I think they do a really good job. I don't want to point fingers at judges saying, "Oh, you didn't get enough sleep, so you made the wrong decision there." I think the nature of judging is one person views a fight differently than the other, and I think that there's not many robberies that I can think of in one. There are some decisions that, have been a bit dodgy, but they usually then review the fight and then they redo it if they have to. And I think they reviewed Veronica and Shia Cohen recently. But I don't know why, because I agreed with the judges on that fight, but I thought Vero won that fight, but a lot of people thought Shia won the fight. It's just subjective, or whatever, objective, whatever the right word is there. It's, the way you view damage is different than when I view damage, or whatever. It's a fight. It's not like football where the ball goes in the net and it's a goal. There's no question of whether it's a goal or not. If it crosses the line, it's a goal, right? Fighting is a sport that requires opinion and analysis of an individual human being judging it, and it just means you're going to get different results, and one ref is going to stop a fight quicker than another. They're going to have a longer leash for that TKO window when it's ground and pound, or what. It's all up to the individual. I think over the course of it, Olivier's judgment balances out, and I think the judges as well. There's going to be the odd stinker they get wrong, but humans do that. Yeah, we all get it wrong. Like I said, I put out fake news on Friday about the eye poke thing. I got it wrong. The thing is just to correct yourself, try not to do it again, and But in an ideal world, these cards would be on the nighttime, and then everyone can be well rested.
Yeah. Fair play. Cheers, Nick. Final question before we let you go. You did mention I think last time we had John, we discussed the model regarding the broadcasting of One Friday Fights. They have kind of a different model leading into One Friday Fights 147. I know you said on X that there's an announcement coming soon regarding how fans will be able to access the fight. So we just wanted to know if you possibly had any update for us. I know we have a lot of people probably waiting to hear.
No, because I posted that when I was on the plane, like the card, and then when I landed, I was getting my bag. I checked my messages, and then someone in one was saying, you can. There will be a way for people to watch it. Announcement coming soon, and I was like, okay, well, I'll mention that, but I haven't had any further updates. Sadly, I did theorize, is that the word, on my podcast the other day, yesterday, whatever, that maybe it'll be a rollout of a global access to the super fan club or whatever it's called. Yes. And because I think that is their intention to eventually make it global. Right now it's just Thailand. I think they are kind of just testing the bugs, make sure they want, when they roll it out globally, they don't want to have a Paramount situation like UFC or like they had with the the pay-per-view that crashed last year. They want it to be on point. So maybe they've ironed out all the bugs, and this week they're going to roll out the global side of the Inner Circle Super Fan Club. Yeah, I hope.
I mean,
What is-
it would be a great event to do it to roll out the new model. Because
Well,
it's
yeah, if you're putting Nabil behind the paywall, like you
Yeah.
better have a plan to make it so that people can actually pay to watch it.
absolutely, man. PG, anything
No, I
else
was
from
just
your
gonna
side, bro?
I was just gonna say the only thing that really worries me is that when you scroll over to the main card, it says Thailand only. That was what we saw with the paywall with the early fights, but now it's the other way around. So I wanted to know: are we gonna get the main card on YouTube still, or is that gonna be Thailand only?
I think the Thailand only element there is just for Channel 7, which is a Thailand TV channel. So you can still watch it the normal way on YouTube and Facebook. I think that's what it's saying on that card there at the top.
Okay. Yes, yes.
I do think one could really make it a lot clearer on these
Yeah.
things. They do have a bit of a problem with mixed messaging around these things, and I think it would be beneficial if they were a bit more. Here's how you can watch it, and I
Yes.
know they do try, but sometimes I feel they could do a bit better on that front. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Just give us the bullet points. We don't need like this convoluted explanation of I have to go to my neighbor's house and use his Wi-Fi. And, you know, all of these things. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely crazy, bro. So yeah,
It's
let's
just
hope that we can
cool. I
get some
think there's so many
clarification on that.
countries there, like broadcasting in, and yeah.
Because they are trying to get into a global market, so it just doesn't make sense to us why you would limit it to you know, because you need a VPN apparently now to access the early fights.
I guess it's like the UFC, right? Whatever country you're in is going to be on a different TV channel or whatever, and it's just the same. But like, I think the problem is everyone's used to getting one for free on YouTube, especially Friday
Yeah.
fights. So when it comes to now I'm going to pay for it, it's like, whoa, we're going to watch it. This is outrageous.
Yeah.
Why hasn't one made it like crystal clear where it is on every country? But
Mm.
they can't put that all on one graphic. There's not enough space to be like, right, well,
Yeah.
in Australia it's on this, and in Turkmenistan it's here.
Yeah, I think maybe we have been a little bit spoiled. Yeah, I think that's a fair point because it has been freely available from beginning to end on YouTube previously.
Yeah,
So
Time to
Yeah.
cough up, guys. We all got to
time to pay the
$5.
piper.
It's not even that expensive either. It's actually very affordable.
I mean,
You know what
I spend money on a lot less valuable things or worthwhile things. Yeah.
Agreed.
Any last predictions before we let Nick go?
Yeah, Nick, maybe you can give us some early predictions for the title fights on the 147 card if you've got the time.
Just those two.
I think
Just bring it
I
up
think
again.
Nabil's gonna win. Sorry, Rambolek. But I'm mad at your girlfriend for cropping me out of that picture of put on. No, she put a picture up of Hugh and the Japanese translator during my interview backstage. This is Tong. She's like a Thai influencer, and I love her as well. But she cropped me out and said, "Oh, these guys are so handsome. Like, I don't know who's more handsome, translator or Hugh." And then I'm like, "You cut the most handsome man out of the picture, guys." So no, yeah, I think Nabil will have enough. Rambolek's been on a great resurgence lately, and he's really surprised me. Really surprised me. I didn't think he'd beat Diakaev, and he did. Didn't just beat him; he finished him, which is incredible. But you know, Nabil is Nabil. He's. I think Nabil is unbeatable, as close as you can get to in combat sport.
We were actually just talking about that before we went on air.
In a different way to the way Khabib was unbeatable, you know. But I think the other fight, Asadullah, I think is going to knock Nongao out, which I have feelings about. I'm sad because I love Nongao, but I think Asadullah is. Yeah, Joe Rogan, I was saying, is so high on this guy right now, and for good reason. Asadullah is so good; it's scary. Just crazy technique as well.
He's a big flyweight.
Yeah, he may have to go up eventually. So, because he's kind of like Nabil as well with that body shape, just so lanky and thin. There may come a time his body can't make fly anymore, but by that time, maybe Nabil's gone up to lightweight, and maybe Abdullah's gone to bantam, and then or whatever, Abdullah's gone to featherweight. He can go up to bantamweight because Mehdi's got a plan for all of his guys. So
Yeah.
but I think he's gonna knock Nongo out in 2 rounds, probably.
Ooh, there you guys heard it.
Sorry, Nongo. I love Nongo, but it's just he's so good, and he finished Kong Torani. No one does that. You know, he head kicked Pampayak madness.
Yes.
The
That's
spinning
mad.
back elbow on Dead Wang leg. Oh my god. Yeah, he just got so many things. And Nongo's gonna try to kick him, but you know,
Let's
he's
see.
probably in the gym getting kicked by Nabil every day and by how many killers, you know.
Yeah.
I think Nongo is coming to the end of his time as well.
Yeah.
He's like 40 years old.
Yeah.
It's not a good recipe. We've seen like Nongo's chin is quite susceptible to these bigger guys. And the move to flyweight was meant to be so he can fight smaller guys, but this guy's even bigger than some of the bantamweights he was fighting.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm saying. Yeah, let's see what happens this weekend, this Friday.
Yeah. Absolutely stacked card.
Easy.
Very much looking forward to that one. But yeah, Nick, thank you once again so much for your time, brother. We can see
No
that
problem.
you really put in a shift here with us, fighting
That
through
dog
the
is,
adversity.
he's sulking. He's turned his back on me. Like, yeah.
Go.
He wants his dinner. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, then we should let you go, Nick. But as always, thank you so much once again for the time and for the work that you do, covering the backstage things and behind the scenes. We really do appreciate it. It really gives us a lot of insights as one championship fight fans into the minds of the fighters. And yeah, just really do appreciate that. And yeah, just know that you're an inspiration to us, and we'd love to have you back on as soon as possible, probably in the near future.
Yeah. Anytime, man. If my schedule lines up, I'm always happy. I appreciate the kind words and keep doing what you're doing, guys. Love the content. And yeah, I can't help you talk about UFC, sadly. I didn't watch it.
No worries, man. We know you got your family waiting on you there. So we'll let you go.
I've got these two dogs who want me to feed them and walk them. That's all I gotta do, and then I'll be back to the computer to do some more work later.
Is that chili peppers on
much appreciated, man.
Is that chili peppers
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, I think
Cool,
so.
cool. All right, so I just jump out here.
Yeah, we'll just take you off. Cheers, Nick.
All
right, that was Nick Atkin, ladies and gentlemen. As we now transition to the UFC. Yeah, the UFC Fight Night, Valios versus Josh Emmett, and that took place on Saturday evening. I think the prelim started at around 11 p.m. South African time. But yeah, BG dominant performance here by Valios, getting it done in the first round against Josh Emmett. You were very impressed by his performance. I did mention that leading up to this fight, I thought this was going to be Valios' toughest test, and he of course passed with flying colors. So, BG, what can you tell us about this one, bro?
Yeah, very impressed with the performance. I was talking to Powhatan about this fight, and I don't want to say that jump on the bandwagon that it's a 40-year-old Josh Emmett, that it's a washed Josh Emmett. He's fighting where he's just doing a one-shot kind of performance, not putting combos and wrestling on you or putting on the jab and work off the jab. He's just relying on the one-shot kind of thing. But I still think he's super dangerous. I still think that Josh Emmett knocks anybody out if he lands on you, right? That threat's still always going to be there. And I think we can't overlook that, which is why I think Kevin Valios' performance was so striking, because he didn't rush to take his prey out. You know what I mean? He allowed Josh to give him the target. He just kept his guard up and walked into the distance, walked into the void, and just kept walking into it. He didn't rush it. He didn't chase him down. He just pressured him. And he watched Emmett give him those targets by wailing that right hand. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to time this guy's right hand. I'm going to tag him when he comes in. And it's going to be lights out from there. And he did exactly what he needed to do. Emmett fought like someone that was, I don't want to use the word scared, but he fought like he had limited options in there. Like he didn't know it wasn't much he could actually do. And I think that was because of the result of Valios' pressure. The fact that he kept him on the back foot, jabbed at him, kept the guard here, fainted at him, and just stayed tight like this the whole time, and never really allowed Josh to do anything else but to react to that pressure. And because he reacted like that, it gave him the targets, it showed him the angles, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna catch this dude coming in, bang. And we always knew Vayo's power is insane. Like literally, this kid is fantastic. He's on some serious levels. But I always felt that Vayo's best traits for me was the fact that he can wrestle with you, he can put the pace on you, he can take you down, he can smash you there if he needs to. But knocking people out is another added danger factor you give to Vayo's. And I think he's also under 27, so I think this guy is gonna be hella intense in this featherweight division, bro. Stocky, powerful. He's almost like Ilya in a way, like that height.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah.
But
That's what they're calling him, bro. Tapuria too.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
That's what they're saying. Yeah. Tapuria
Yeah,
too.
I didn't know that, but I did think that when I look at Ilya Tapuria, it reminds me of not a phenomenal fighter, but like a worldie of an athlete. Explosive, powerful, energetic, game planning, technique is on point. He's textbook. And when I see Vayeo's fight, I see that as well. I see someone that is just athletically unmatched in this division. But on top of that, it's the brain. It's how he fights in there. I was like, nah, this man is good. He is fucking good. So I'm excited to see what the prospect looks like going forward. He took out a good name. I won't say top contender, but a very, very good name. I'm excited to see what happens next. Like, who do they give him next? And I think whoever they give him next is going to be a nightmare matchup for them. Honestly, in this featherweight division, I think Powhatan said that he should fight Rey Rodriguez next. Honestly, I think I'm all in on that fight.
Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I think he destroys Yair also.
You think so?
Yeah, I think either Yair's gonna be able to keep him at range with the kicks, but if he gets inside, bro, he's gonna kill Yair.
Yeah.
If he gets inside on that distance, he's gonna kill Yair. So I fancy him to do it, and I think he probably knocks Yair out. But decent fight. I can definitely see some kind of path to victory where Yair kicks his way to a decision. But
what about Vayeo's versus Nukizeo?
Mukazil, yeah, that's a fight. Now that's a fight for me, bro. Two up and comers, but at the same time, it's like, do you want to protect your stars and like let them build a bit more? You know what I mean? But I'd love to see that fight, bro. I would love to see that fight.
You
Absolutely.
Too. If not Nukizeo, then I would say Arnold Allen.
Yeah, Arnold Allen's a dog. Yeah. So yeah, lots of options here for the man. But as far as Josh Emmett goes, do you think this is the end for him?
I think his coaches should say that to him. I think he doesn't really, unless there's a financial issue, but I feel like there isn't. Sounds like he's got a very good family. He's financially sound. He's got a good gym, good coaching staff. I feel like the coach should tell him, no, bro, you have nothing to prove anymore. Like, you don't. You're 41. You'll be 41. Like, you don't have to prove anything. You've done the things. You fought the best guys. You were in an interim title fight. You don't have to prove anything. Because if you've been realistic, if you look at the landscape of the division, all these young cats that are in their mid-20s, mid to late 20s are doing good things. Nukizeo knocked out fucking 50K. Kevin Vayeo's just knocked you out. He's on a massive streak. Yusuf Zalal's doing really well. Arnold Allen just lost. Gene Silver's back up there. You know what I mean? Like, can you really beat these guys going forward that are gunning for a title run where you were?
Yeah.
So realistically, I'll be like, yo, ain't no shame in calling it right now. You can join the coaching staff, and how about you get back up producing the next best Josh Emmett?
Yeah.
The next Josh. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
That's what I would do if I was his coach.
Yeah, strongly agree with everything there, BG. I do think it's time for Josh Emmett to transition to something else here. Do you have any final thoughts on this one, bro?
No, bro, because the fight was so quick. I was like, I wanted to see more to unpack, but it was so fast, bro. And it's just like, okay, there we go, fight's done. Not much really happened. I mean, you saw there, most shots were thrown, was 48 shots in the first round, which is a lot of shots, by the way. But I mean, a lot of it came from the ground and pound anyway.
Yeah, fair. In that case, we'll move to Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson in some women's strawweight. Jillian Robertson getting the job done here by unanimous decision. I didn't see this one, bro, so I'm gonna let you just talk us through it, please.
Sure, man. Firstly, Jillian won. I wasn't doubtful of her winning, but I went to the Amanda because I felt that Amanda would have been able to use her experience to actually nullify Jillian and force it to be a kickboxing fight. which she did in the first round, by the way. I thought Amanda did a good job in the first round by making Julian deal with that pressure, deal with that boxing, deal with the power shots. But it did come at a low firing rate, which I think was going to be a sort of a detriment to Amanda Lemos in this fight. I picked the man of Manilang because you know why? Experience, what power shots. Julian doesn't do well with powerful strikers. But I also did say in the preview, Julian went on a 4-fight winning streak. She looked fantastic. She found, the big word I used was, she found that dog in her, which she didn't have. People were able to walk right through her easy. They were able to bully her. But the last 4 fights, Julian looked like she found this, like, I'm this powerful fighter. You'd be lucky to be able to beat me kind of person, which I thought was wonderful to notice. And I always felt that Julian's aggressive, which I thought the only way she wins this fight was to take her down and pen wrestle her. And she did that. She did it in round 2, she did it in round 3, and that's why she won the fight. Because she was able to land her takedowns. Not only did she land them, the one she didn't land didn't discourage her. She still went forward. She still went for a takedown. It didn't deter her from anything. And that's why she won the fight. Round 2 and 3, she dominated by taking it down, kept it there, ground and pound. And you can't not score a fighter for doing that. You have to give them the points, right? And for Amanda Lemos, she couldn't do anything. She couldn't get her offer. And therefore, you lose in the fight, bro. Nothing more significant than that happened in this fight. There wasn't a lot of striking exchanges outside of the first round. And then, like I said, second, third round, it was literally just all extensive grappling. Gillian Robertson reminds me of Mateusz Gamrot, but with more ground and pound. You know, Mateusz Gamrot will chain wrestle you, but he won't really ground and pound you. He'll just chain wrestle you to the point where you just have to fall to that pressure. Gillian looks for finishes when she gets you down. She looks for an elbow to the face. She looks for something to submit. She goes for that killer move, and that's why she's a prospect. Now, does she get the title shot next? I don't think so. But she definitely jumps herself into the top 5 after this win. Definitely.
Okay, so let's have a quick look at the women's strawweight here. Not quite title already yet, so of those names in the top 5, what do you think, Jan Shannon?
I think Shannon beats her. I think Jandaroba would be a good fight for her. To be a grappling affair, and I feel like Julian Robertson has to get the gas tank. She could get Jandaroba out of there. I think Tatiana Swan is a nightmare for her. Willie, nightmare for her. But she has to fight them. I think the natural fight for me for her to go next, actually none of the top 5, be either Tabitha Ricci or Lupi Godinez.
Fair play. Let us know in the comments if you have any thoughts on that one, ladies and gentlemen. PG, do you have any other thoughts here?
Nah, man, I think we can move on.
Andre Tachifili falling short here against Jose Miguel Delgado in some featherweight MMA. Thoughts, PG? I'm just gonna run to the toilet quickly while you break this one down, bro.
No worries, bro. So this fight, wrong camera. So this fight, I found it was quite entertaining. I did not Jose Miguel Delgado for the win when we did our preview. Didn't put him on any parlays, but I did say that I think he wins this fight. That he's young, he's vibrant, he's got very good striking, takedown defense is on point. I actually thought he lost the first round significantly. I thought round 2 was fairly close. I believe they gave it to Delgado, which you can make strong arguments for. But I think he actually fought a very good fight. But close. There's a close second round. I think Delgado did a better job at landing more frequent strikes and a little bit more accurate with those strikes as well, and defended the takedown. But then in the third round, I felt that Anis actually came back in the third round. I thought he had the better pressure. He landed 4 of his takedowns, which I thought should be added, though he didn't really add a lot of success in terms of damaging shots on the ground, but he was able to get Miguel down. And then a little bit controlling him, but Miguel got back up to his feet. But I felt because Miguel Delgado was on the back foot for that third round and fought counter-striking heavy, it made me go, now I'm not sure if he wins this fight, but then he wins the fight anyway. They give him the split decision. But when it's a split decision, the fight can always go either way. Again, like I mentioned, Andre Tachifili, even though he had the lesser strikes, I felt that rounds 1 and round 3, he did enough for me. He won the first round with a more polished striking. And then in the third round, I felt that he added in the takedown with the pressure. Although he didn't really have a lot of damage with the takedowns, he was consistently doing it and taking him down with it. So he was actually controlling the trajectory of the fight for me. So even though I supported Miguel Delgado, and I picked him to win, I actually thought he lost this fight. But that's what you get with splits. You can make an argument for either guy. So not much I can really say in the fight. It wasn't really like a worldy of a performance from either guy. Just a very nice component back and forth between two a legendary fighter in Philly, and a newcomer in Delgado. Delgado's a fucking big dude. I thought he was a lot smaller than that. He's almost 6 foot, and he's in the featherweight division. So I thought he was like a lot shorter. He always appeared to be a shorter guy than me. But to see him fight this fight, and I was like, Philly's tall featherweight, and he matched Philly in terms of height and range. And I was like, oh shit, okay, Delgado's actually one of the big featherweight guys. So let's keep a lookout for his growth. But at the moment, I don't see him as someone as a hot prospect. But let's see what happens next.
Speaking of prospects, PG, Marwan Raiki getting the job done against Harry Hardwick in the second round here. How impressed was you? How impressed were you with his performance here, bro?
Very, very impressed. There were moments in there where I felt that he was a little bit overextending his combinations, which Hardwick was able to catch him. Hardwick had good pressure, but Hardwick never really had the striking pedigree to put him away. I remember someone was saying that Hardwick actually trains with Paddy the Baddy a lot, so he was primarily grappling heavy, which makes sense. So I was wondering why there was no pop in his shots. I was like, this guy's punching, but it looks like he's not really putting weight in his punches. And the technique looks a little bit flat. And the kicking that he was throwing looked to me like he was kicking to sort of like condition Marwan, or it wasn't really to hurt him. I knew to myself, okay, he's not really a striker. And then I heard on commentary he's actually he's a grappler. So I was like, okay, it makes a lot of sense. And Marwan, what I like about him is now I think 8-0. His record, very good striker, but I want to see him be a little bit more not to be so hasty. The hastiness forces him to overextend the combination, and that's when Hardwick was able to counter him a few times. He was getting countered by a non-striker, and I didn't like that. But still, powerful, fast, typical Moroccan kickboxing style, heavy-handed, and dude, he cracked Hardwick with some powerful shots, broke his jaw. Hardwick, I saw in the second round, he couldn't close his mouth, and he wasn't even tired, bruh. Hardwick wasn't tired. No, I think it was the second round. At the end of the second round, you could see his mouth was like fighting like that. And he sat down on the stool, and the man wasn't even tired. He sat down and he was looking at his coaches like he still did look. And then they could see he couldn't close his mouth, like couldn't swallow. And they're like, dude, something's wrong with your jaw. And then they had to call the fight right in there, and it turned out there was a nice left hook that caught him.
Yeah, I didn't even see it, eh? Like
Dude, it was nasty.
He didn't even see that punch, bro. Like he was facing the other way when the punch hit him, and that's like always the worst ones, the ones you don't see, bro.
Yeah,
because you can't react to it.
I don't know if it was broken or dislocated, but you just couldn't close his mouth after.
It was a nasty left hook, bro.
Didn't make the third round. Well done to Marwan, dude. He's giving me Yusuf Zalal energy. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, the one that I did manage to get correct, the underdog Ion Kutalaba getting the job done against Umar Sy, first round sub. Going into it, we both kind of agreed that Umar Sy hasn't really set the world alight, and Kutalaba would have the skill set to get it done, and he did. Very first round sub, I think it was a guillotine choke. PG.
Yeah, he jumped in that guillotine like a mofo. But Umar Sy, let's be real, dude. He's just not the guy. Doesn't have the stuff. He moves like a tortoise. Fights like a panda. He's just not the bra for me. I don't understand why there's hype around him. I don't get it. The record is like, I get the record says they only lost once, now he lost twice. And losing to a Kutalaba fighter that, let's be real, has never really got going in the UFC. He's a fan favorite because of his antiques, but in terms of performances and fights, he has never really got. The guy's been in the UFC now for years, and he's still not ranked. Not ranked. Let that sink in for the audiences. That kind of tells you where he's at, in my opinion. So I'm happy for the fight. I always felt that this fight wasn't going to go the distance. I didn't think he was going to win in that fashion, but I just believed this fight was not going to go the distance. Someone was going to get finished here. And if you're going to pick a finisher, likely going to be Kutalaba than Umar Sy. Umar Sy he just does the stuff, right? He just can't put people away. If Jed was here now, he would have said typical French, right? Which is a cuck thing to say, but that's something that people would say about this. So if I'm UFC, I'll put the spotlight on Umar Sy as the managers and CEOs and go like, listen, this guy is starting to get fans saying things about him not being the guy. He might get another chance after this, but if he loses again against another not ranked fighter, we could see Umar Sy get released. Because Kutalaba was on his way to that conversation of potentially released, and now he's got a dub. Now he's got a 2-fight win streak. You know what I mean? Someone's learning
Yeah.
here. So yeah, great performance from Kutalaba. I thought he fought really well because the submission didn't come from him shooting, bro. Umar Sai shot on him because he was getting pissed
Mm.
up on the feet. He was like panic shooting and gave his head, and Kutalaba was like, "Thank you, I'll take that, Nick, all day, every day." So well done to him. I think they should have given him a bonus, in my opinion.
Yeah, indeed. Unfortunately, didn't send that bet, but yeah, happy to call another dog.
But you did.
Um, yeah, the thing is, bro, after the after the fight night stream
Yeah.
on Saturday morning, I slept like a
Okay.
lot, and then I went out, and then I came back, and I was knackered, bro. So I didn't
Right.
place any bets. Yeah, I was like at the beat anyway, but yeah, didn't play. Long story short, didn't place the bets. Blah blah blah. Charles Johnson versus Bruno Silva.
Great fight.
Yeah, fantastic fight here. Bruno Silva game as ever, but Charles Johnson getting the job done by split decision. PG.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this fight. It was a nice back and forth. I think split was a fair decision because, dude, Bruno Silva was doing the things, bro. Charles Johnson was catching him with clean shots, but as you can see on screen, it was very, very close. But Bruno Silva was pushing the pace for me. Charles Johnson won the fight for me because he was actually clean and smart within retreating and whenever he's going forward. You know what I mean? Like when he was getting backed up by Bruno, he was still catching Bruno coming in and even like getting out of the way and tagging him when he was moving backwards. And I felt like that for me was the tipping point. That's actually what made the judges go, let's give it to Charles Johnson. Because Bruno Silva, when he was on defense, he was just on defense. He wasn't actually hurting Charles going backwards. He wasn't really he didn't have an active defense. When he was on defense, he was like, okay, I need to defend, cover up, don't get taken down, get out, go back to range and start boxing again. Whereas Charles Johnson, when he was getting backed up, he was swinging, bro. He was tagging Bruno coming in. He was like, "Nah, I'm gonna hit you. You need to pay for this entry, brother. You're not gonna get it free." I think that was the deciding factor in the fight. If that didn't happen for me, it would have been such a difficult fight for the judges to pick a winner because it was that close, back and forth. I thought neither guy had upper hand. Neither guy had the upper hand, so it came down to adjustments. It came down to who made that minor adjustment, and Charles Johnson was the guy who made the adjustment, which is why I thought the decision was correct. Boxing was equal. Takedowns were equal because as you can see, neither guy was successful with it. Both guys were able to defend each other's takedowns. So yeah, if you were a neutral fan and you want to watch a fun fight that didn't go to a defeat to a finish, this fight was entertaining in that regard for me. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, they were 14 and 15 ranked flyweights before the fight. So just showing how close it was there. As far as next for Charles Johnson, since these guys were ranked, might be worth mentioning what's next for them. So I'll bring the rankings up here. What do
Isn't he on
you
a
think,
win?
PG?
Isn't Charles Johnson on like a good streak now at the moment? Because if he is, I'd say give him Steve Usyk, bro.
Charles
Charles
Johnson is now on
It's
a
only
two fight.
Yeah, 2 fight, yeah, you're right. And 3 fight. Sorry, so he knocked out Kavanaugh, knocked out Alex Perez, and now he beat Bruno Silva.
No, he lost to Perez. Sorry, he
Oh,
lost.
yeah,
to
he
Perez.
lost.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So he's just back in the win column now.
So then, yeah, I think like a Ulanbekov who lost to didn't he lose to what's his name? Horiguchi. So that's why he's done there. So I would say he can take on Tajir Ulanbekov. Steve Usyk needs a fight, or I think he does have a fight, but that's another fight for me. And even Tim Elliott, bro. I feel like Tim Elliott shouldn't even be in the UFC because of being an old dog, and he was there already, and he's back, and he hasn't had a fight like in over 2 years now. So I would say let's give him Steve Usyk, or you give him Tim Elliott, or you could run him back with Alex Perez, who knocked him out.
Fair. All right then, BG. Prelims. Anything you want to talk about here, bro?
Nah, I didn't watch it, bro. I actually want to go back to watch the Chris Curtis and Odoblai fight because we picked Odoblai to win, and he did. We picked the opportunity to win, and he did. I actually wanted to play over there, but we didn't get it. And I also said Elijah Smith. Remember, I said Elijah Smith. He's a call. He got the job done as well. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch any of these fights, but I'm definitely keen to watch them back because I feel like the results are interesting. You know?
Yeah, I heard the Asplin fight was quite a banger, even though it did go the distance. It was quite a stand and bang there, so maybe worth rewatching.
Yeah, and the Balaji Oki and Souza fight, apparently that was also a wild one. So I'd like to go back and watch them again.
Yeah.
Again. I don't have anything to say.
Find the time, bro. We still have. Who's on UFC this week? Is there a card this week?
Good question.
Just check quickly.
Yeah, there is. There is on Saturday. Yo, decent time. Woo!
Let's go.
Woo! We're going live. Going live. That's
Evloev
Michael William
versus
Page.
Murphy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's UK.
it's
Nice.
UK. Maybe we can get ESR and Rory on for the live watch along, bro.
Ooh, let's go. Let's talk nicely.
And the thing Nathaniel Wood. Nah, dude. Them start at 7 p.m. for us. That's a fucking great time. Mario Pinto.
Mario Pinto.
Nah, we gotta watch this card live, bro. We have to.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. We will be live.
Roman Delitze, Christian Leroy Duncan. I'm all in.
Let's go. All right then. See you guys on the live stream for this one then, ladies and gentlemen. Just be ready for that one. We will confirm times closer to the time. But okay then, BG, we can stop sharing our screens now. You can head off for the rest of it. But strange, having a show this early in the morning now, having to deal with the rest of the day now. I feel like, this should be the end of the day. But anyway, great show. Thanks again to Nick Atkin for being here. Thank you to you, BG, as always, for the fantastic insights. Any final words? I'm going to prepare the graphics while you take us home, bro. Yeah.
Let's go. So what you guys can expect, obviously Eddie gave us all the nice thanks. So what you guys can expect for the remainder of the week. On Tuesday, we will be doing the preview for that UFC card we just spoke about now with Louis versus Lerone Murphy. There'll be tomorrow, so look out for that preview. And then on Wednesday, we have a fantastic card for you guys, a video for you guys. We're going to do a preview. Might even do it live. We have a guest with Rory. Keep a look at it. If you guys don't know, he's been big on X, taking down a lot of the fights. I actually can't wait for that. We're going to be previewing One Friday Fights 147. As you guys know, we'll talk about it with Nick Atkin. It's a crazy card. Just a crazy card. So we're going to do a preview with that one. Then on Thursday, like I said last week, I know you guys were asking us in the comment section. Thursday, we're going to be doing a live at 9 p.m. South African time where we do our betting man segment. You can come and join and get your picks, get the banter going. That's where we kind of get together to get the best picks for everybody. Then on Friday, the usual slot, 1 South African time, we're going live for the One Friday Fights 147. That's going to be insane. Look out for that. As you just heard, how I lost my mind right now. We're going to go live for UFC on Saturday at 7 p.m. South African time, which I think will be 5 p.m. UK time. Keep a lookout for that, guys. We hope to see each and every one of you there. From myself in the Fighting with Friends team, wishing you all a fantastic week. Be safe, be healthy, train hard. We will catch you guys in the next one. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you.